They are ready. The officials are ready. So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner with his trainer Anatoly. Wearing yellow with red, official weight 146.4 pounds. His professional record is a perfect one. 38 fights, 38 victories, including 28 wins by knockout. From Buriram, he's the fighting pride of Thailand, the undefeated Tewa Kiram! And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner with his trainer, Joel Diaz, wearing blue with white and officially weighing in at 147 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one, 38 victories, including 35 big wins by knockout, with 4 defeats from Trelu, Shubat, Argentina, the WBA Intercontinental welterweight champion. He is Lucas La Máquina Mathysse.
Terry, take off his chains. All right, Terry, let's go. Terry. Okay. Gentlemen, I give you instructions downstairs. Keep your punches up. Right here is fine. No punches behind the back of the head. Good luck to both of you. Back to your corners.
Mathysse has gone from an 8-to-1 favorite to about a 5-to-1 favorite, which means money is coming in on Kiram. There's a sense in boxing among observers and insiders that Kiram's size and youth and energy could pull off the upset against the 35-year-old warhorse.
And how much of that is influenced by what Srisaket Sorung Visai did against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez last March in Madison Square Garden, and then later in the year at the StubHub Center in Carson?
I think it's lazy thinking, because they both are from the same country, Sorung Visai and Kiram. But I think it also speaks to the way people see Mathysse as vulnerable.
Well, when I look for vulnerability in a situation like this, the first thing that I am struck by, Roy Jones, is the muscular power of Kiram's legs. Look at how big his calves are compared even to Mathysse, who does not have small legs, who has nothing to be bashful about in that regard because he's a big puncher, and often that comes from the legs. But Kiram is noticeably stronger in the legs.
Yes, it reminds you of the Philippine fighters. Most of those guys have huge calves. So
Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, Kiram has that type of calf, has that type of a build. He doesn't seem like a normal welterweight. He looks like a junior middleweight out here.
Absolutely.
And actually, he is a legitimate middleweight right now at 160.
And Mathysse, in only his second fight at welterweight, is relatively small for a welterweight fighter. So that's the reason why, or one of the reasons, there are many, why a number of ringsiders have been talking up the possibility of a Kiram upset in this fight.
Well, we haven't seen the thing that I'm going to tell you that could be the upset, and that's the straight right hand. Once he throws the straight right hand, I can tell you how much chance they have putting their money on the upsets.
Right.
Right,
I think the thinking in boxing, Roy, is just that if Mathysse throws the right hand and Kiram can take it, that's why the odds have fallen. Still 5-to-1 are wide odds, but they ain't 8-to-1.
But no question, as you look at them with the naked eye from here at ringside, no question, Kiram is overall the larger man.
Much larger.
Kiram does have a good 1-2 himself. In fact, that's certainly his best offensive option is the heavy jab followed by the quick right hand.
But the way he brings the jab back might seem to invite Mathysse to counter over it with the right hand, and Lucas Mathysse has knocked a lot of opponents down with exactly that move.
Yeah, but Lucas don't look so crisp and sharp tonight either, Jim. He looks a little bit slower than we normally see him. He's not as crisp as we see him at 140.
Mathysse perhaps still getting used to his relationship with trainer Joel Diaz. It certainly looked good in the fight against Emmanuel Taylor last year.
Watch your feet, watch your feet.
Not the action fight that many were thinking we could get, at least not in the first round, not yet.
No, Mathysse is being cautious, and Kiram is simply range finding with the jab so far in round one.
A lot of filling out.
There's the range finding, and finally Kiram throws the right hand. But it was a peeling out round.
Come on, you can't go back like you just did there. No, you got to go in and you got to flex your waist, all right? You see that way you're pushing the pace and moving your torso, he doesn't know what to do. But you've got to work there, okay? You've got to keep him always thinking. So he doesn't know what you're doing, okay? Careful, because he caught you there, huh? It's back at you. Careful.
You need to keep that jab going. Jab. Your jab is really good. You need to keep that jab. Relax. You need to relax. Go. Don't get excited. Don't get excited. We need you to relax. Relax. Keep that jab going. Keep that jab. And then the 1-2.
Seconds out.
Interesting emphasis there in that round. Relax. Keep the jab going. I thought he was very relaxed in round one.
He was. They're just trying to keep him relaxed so that he doesn't do anything stupid and give up a big shot over top of the jab.
Kiram threw 27 jabs in round one, only threw 7 power punches, but the jab was good enough. That unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman, scoring on with his own eyes, scored that round for Kiram.
What I don't like what I saw there from Kiram, Roy, was he's throwing the jab and even the right hand, he's kind of leaving it out there. You know, after the jab lands, the arms are still extended.
That's why I'm saying that the way he brings the jab back might invite the right hand counter from Mathysse, which has produced power and knockdowns in the back.
As you said that, it produced the right hand from Mathysse.
Right over the top. Problem Kiram has is that his Rolodex isn't that thick. He only has a jab and a straight right hand, nothing else. And you need more weapons than that to really deal with a fighter with punching power like Mathysse has. But if he can keep him outside all night with that jab, then he still may have a chance.
Roy, I think of Joel Diaz, Coachella, California, Timmy Bradley's trainer for quite a long time. I think of him as an offensive fighter's trainer. Is it a good marriage?
Yes, a very good marriage, because Mathysse really is a good offensive fighter. And like Joel told him between rounds, why are you backing up playing pity-pat with this guy? Go right to him.
Break.
Yeah, Jonas, I see what you mean about the way he brings it back, but he also sometimes doesn't bring it back at all. Leaves it out there after he lands.
It could also produce the same effect.
Same exact thing. Big right hand counter.
One thing he is doing is when he jabs, he's stepping back with that right foot, and that's what's saving him from the right hand counter right now. Now, Mathysse will figure it out soon, but right now that's what's saving him. Saying step back with that right foot.
Yep. Mathysse just needs to step with him.
That's exactly right. I'm about to say he'll figure it out soon, but that's the only thing that's been saving him up to this point. That body shot might have hurt him too.
Kiram firing his jab and backing away, firing his jab and backing away. Mathysse watching, looking for chances to throw the right hand. There's a right hand shot by Mathysse, and now Kiram sticks the jab right in between Mathysse's punch output. So far, the fight has been Kiram's jab against Mathysse's deliberation as to whether to counter. And it's easy to see why a judge might wind up scoring the rounds for Kiram. He's more active. February 24, Boxing After Dark returns with triple header action, headlined by Srisaket Sorang defending his super flyweight title against former world titleist Juan Francisco Estrada. Also that night, Carlos Cuadras versus McWilliams Arroyo, and Dani Nietes takes on Juan Carlos Rebeco. 1 week later, or Rebeco, I should say. 1 week later, we head up the scales for a light heavyweight championship doubleheader as Sergey Kovalev risks his slice of the title against Igor Mikhalkin, and Dimitri Bivol, the division's fastest rising star, takes on Sullivan Barrera. The main event there is the Kovalev-Mikhalkin fight because it has Kovalev in it. But the fight that experts are really interested to see is Bivol against Sullivan Barrera. Bivol's punching power and overall athletic quality against Barrera's Cuban-trained boxing skill.
That's the better fight on that card, and it's mainly because we know both guys.
Go, box.
Through 2 rounds, Kiram has thrown 51 jabs and Mathysse has thrown 61 total punches. So that makes Kiram the more active of the 2 fighters in rounds 1 and 2.
You know what the most impressive thing about Kiram to me so far, guys, is he had no amateur boxing matches. Very calm for a guy with no amateur experience. In against a world-class fighter and a world-class puncher. And as you said, Roy, kind of a limited repertoire, and yet he has a calmness about him like he's been there before.
Highly limited toolbox, but he's not even worried about it, and that's really strange.
Well, we've seen it before. Nobody knew much about Srisaket Sorang when he came out of Thailand last year. He already had 4 losses on his record and a draw. A lot of people thought, oh, well, nobody with 4 losses and a draw in Thailand is going to beat Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. But people failed to recognize that the losses and the draw, 3 of the losses and the draw had taken place way back at the beginning of his career. Like Kiram, he had made a transition out of Muay Thai, the kickboxing form in Thailand, into boxing.
Stop. Break.
And Sorang owned the ring in terms of psychology.
Sorang Visai, also, if you listen to guys he'd worked with, would say he was a monstrous puncher and was more of a compact fighter in terms of his technique than Kiram.
Sorang Visai has a killer toolbox. He can throw every punch with power.
That's right.
Either hand he chooses to throw to knock you out with, he can do. Kiram does not have that luxury.
Now Mathysse is starting to find the range.
But that jab still causing him a problem, Max.
Yep. But now his punches are starting to land a little more cleanly, and he's not throwing them with power yet. Next comes those same shots with power.
And he's stepping forward a little bit more quickly to follow Kiram after Kiram throws the jab and backs away with the right foot, as Roy pointed out in rounds 2.
Sometimes Mathysse has a little mouse under his right eye. From, his left eye, I think it is. It must be from Kiram's right hand. Maybe the right hand.
I believe it's the jab that did it.
You would think, because he's throwing a lot of them, but it's on the side that the right hand's more likely to land.
I ain't seen him land the right hand this year.
Danny Garcia caused Lucas Matysse's right eye to swell shut with his left hook. And of course, we know what Victor Postol did to Matysse's left eye with his straight right hand.
And with that right hand he just threw that, Max, there's no way that could produce a mount.
Good body shot by Lucas Mathysse. Hard right hand to the ribcage by Mathysse there. Kiram shaking his head at Mathysse, which almost automatically tells you that he's feeling the punches now.
Let's go, sit it. Give him water. Give him water. Go here. You got it.
Lucas, él no quiere, nomás para que tú le pongas
doesn't want anything
presión.
else. All you need to do is pressure.
Nomás que tienes que
Felt your power.
We did a jab and then left hook. Keep your distance. Relax. Keep that jab going, keep that jab.
And there's a quick look at the Santa Monica Pier. Busy and active on a chilly Saturday night here in LA. And now we go back to round 4 so far in the fight. CompuBox overall numbers are almost dead even. Mathysse 20 out of 98. Kiram 22 out of 107 at this point. Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored through the first 3?
Okay, Jim. I got a 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Lucas Mathysse. You know, Jim, I'm just not impressed by the power in Tewa Kiram's punches. I don't think there is any power in Tewa Kiram's punches. He throws a lot of nice jabs, but, you know, I don't think he's got real snap to that jab. He lands it, but I don't think it's doing any damage. On the other hand, Mathysse, when he lands, he hurts you. 2 rounds to 1, Lucas Mathysse.
Harold may have been right up until the point he was actually making the comment, where Kiram seemed to land his first big right hand and then seemed to draw blood from Mathysse.
The sweat was flying, the head was turned.
But I know what
Harold point.
What Harold meant to that point. He was right, exactly. I think.
That's right. But it was almost as though Kiram said, "Oh, you want to see power? Here."
Must have hurt him.
Oh, good right hand.
Another good right hand by Tewa Kiram.
And this may be because Mathysse was applying pressure at the end of the last round and starting to land some clean shots. Kiram has to put some mustard on his shots to keep Mathysse honest. The question is how much, as a fight like this progresses, if Kiram can continue to throw those kind of shots, how much does the old guy want it? Those picking the upset question that. How much does Mathysse still want it?
Mathysse is becoming more assertive in the fight, moving forward, throwing his jab like that, trying to follow with the right hand behind it. That could give Kiram some counter punching opportunities. We'll see if he can take advantage of them. Combination by Mathysse.
Box.
There's a tiny mark just above the left eyebrow of Lucas Mathysse.
And Mathysse is just not as sharp as we used to seeing him, Max. We used to see him throw much crisper punches than this, much crisper combinations. This is not like the old Lucas Mathysse that I'm used to seeing.
Agreed. And he's not fighting a smaller fighter like Emmanuel Taylor right now. He's fighting a really big fighter for the division.
Not that the fight is dangerous, but...
And the crowd is beginning to sing. And I have to believe, based on the soccer tradition in Argentina, that the singing in the crowd comes from Argentine sports fans, Argentine soccer fans, who are very accustomed to singing at their events, supporting Lucas Mathysse.
All right, sit. Good. Water. There's nothing there. Okay, there's nothing there. Relax. Lucas, very well, okay? Doing very well, son. The only thing, you've got to work a bit more punches to the body, all right? When he gets in, when he comes on you, work him in the center. Turn to the side, all right?
Now you see they're working on the left eyebrow of Lucas Mathysse. And Raul Cuais, the referee, came over to us between rounds to make clear to us that that was caused by a punch. So Mathysse is the first man marked in the competition, and we go to round 5. And I think the tender spot, or the cut, whichever it is, on the left eyebrow of Lucas Mathysse was actually created by the punch that we were talking about, that Mathysse, or that Kiram threw, while Harold Letterman was saying that he didn't have any punching power.
Speaking of punching power, in this round, I see Mathysse throw his first batch of heavy-handed punches.
And that was the first one. Well, I'd like to see Mathysse go to the body hard and see what happens, you know? Not try so much to knock him out to the head, but test his body first.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to knock out a naturally larger man with that winging right hand that he slings over the top. That one got rid of a lot of 140-pounders, but it might not do the trick here.
Unless he can catch him when he's not expecting it.
And then again, it might, and that is the problem for a lot of one-punch knockout artists, is they are too tempted to land that shot upstairs and don't put in that consistent body work that Roy is calling for.
I haven't seen Kiram throw much of anything to the body, if at all.
Hear the crowd booing. They were anticipating a really good action fight,
right?
And they haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, if this were somebody other than Lucas Mathysse in there, they might think this is pretty good. But they expected a lot more.
The other thing about one-punch knockout artists is sometimes the thought of them is that they produce great action fights, when the reality is sometimes they can be stymied for a while until they land that one big punch. And what people remember is the knockout.
Well, I'm going to say he's not just a one-punch knockout artist. This guy actually can box a little bit. And he's just not really in tune tonight. I don't know what it is with him, but he's not really in tune as I'm used to seeing him be, because against people like Ruslan Provodnikov,
shorter
this
fighters,
dude put up some boxing against that too.
Yes.
But this dude can box against those type guys.
Emmanuel Taylor last year, he put on a show.
Exactly. So he's not looking like the old Lucas Mathysse tonight.
But Postal and now Kiram are taller fighters, and Mathysse seems to shelve the jab and these kind of boxing moves that he takes out against the shorter pressure fighters.
Yeah, but Max, we know what we see with punches, crisp, sharp punches. I don't see the crisp, sharp punches. That's what I'm talking about.
He's 35 years old, Roy.
That don't mean nothing. I'm 49.
This Tuesday, don't miss the premiere of the next installment of Real Sports and an investigation as to why countless United States Olympians are going broke, going for gold, despite the United States Olympic Committee reporting hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue last year alone. Tuesday, Real Sports.
Gotta get in on him, man. You gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta get in on him and work, son. Water. You're using too much water, guys.
Relax, breathe, relax.
Okay.
We go to round 6 of a scheduled 12. And through the first 5 rounds, 27 of Kiram's 35 landed punches are jabs, and he's landed only 1 body punch. So there's not a lot of variety in Tewa Kiram's game. Nevertheless, Lucas Mathysse has not yet figured out how to hurt him or land combinations in such a way as to put him in a defensive or compromising position.
Stop!
You know, you see our first fight tonight. It went the distance. No knockdowns, but there were 2 skillful fighters exchanging combinations in the middle of the ring, not holding, not awkwardly moving around and negating the action. And here what we see is a guy without an amateur background in Kiram doing what he can. But I wouldn't call it a stinking fight, but you don't see the same skill level in the middle of the ring and exchanges the way we did in the first fight.
Like I say, it's just, to me, something's not right about Lucas tonight, because I know Lucas is a better fighter than this. And I've seen Lucas fight and throw better punches, better combinations. Just something's just not really right with him tonight. I don't know if he got old tonight or what happened. But
well, that's the question that I was about to ask you at the end of last round. Did you say that you're not seeing the old Lucas Mathysse? Could it be because he has become the old Lucas Mathysse?
I don't think that's the case necessarily, but it could be. And a lot of times this happens in preparation. When you prepare like an old fighter, you don't prepare with the sharpness that you did when you were younger. You will show up like this in a fight, but I don't think the age really has a lot to do with it as much as the preparation does.
And a lot of fans may wonder how that happens. But boxing training is cumulative. You're going to train for 6-8 weeks. So if you show up at the gym every day and you're 97% of yourself, the people around you are likely to see 100% and say, oh, you're great, you're still the champ, you're amazing. But in fact, you're giving up a little bit every day if you train that way.
That's exactly right.
Let go. Hey, déjalo ir.
Boxers have to motivate from within.
Let's go.
Mathysse, Raul Mathysse Jr. warning Tewa Kiram there.
You keep holding him, going to take a point away. I don't blame him. It doesn't look like egregious holding, but it's constant whenever Mathysse is in range. And that's partly because he doesn't have the same deep amateur or any amateur background or deep professional background against top fighters. So he doesn't have the tools to play defense in close.
Let's go.
Kiram.
Let's take a look at something very interesting that happened in the last between rounds period, not in this between rounds period. There's a representative of the California State Commission. He goes to Kiram's corner and takes a little jar away from Kiram. Shows it to Raul Mathysse, and Mathysse smells it. I am told that that jar has now been taken to another room here in the building where the California State Athletic Commission is going to try to determine what it is. And they have been told that it's an herbal substance, and there you saw Kiram using it, sniffing from the jar, and now the California State Athletic Commission is endeavoring to find out what was in the jar, see whether this might be a disqualifiable offense. And of course, we know about Asian medicine, that they use holistic substances in many different ways, not contemplated here in the United States. Who knows? It may or may not be a substance that's listed among banned substances by the California State Athletic Commission. Mathysse averaging 7 out of 33 power per round, 5 power landed in the last 7 fights, 19 of 54, 13 of which were power shots. So, in other words, Matysse's punch output and the number of landed shots, particularly power shots, way down tonight, and that is a statistical verification of what Roy Jones has been telling you for the past 3 rounds, that he doesn't see the Lucas Mathysse he's been expecting to see. Meanwhile, Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I got it 4 rounds to 2, 58-56, Lucas Mathysse. You know, Jim, he's not fighting a great fight. Max said he wouldn't call it a stinking fight, but I would. In any case, Lucas Matysse's landing the hardest shots, and that's all there is to it. Tewa Kiram is out punching him, landing that jab constantly. But the question is, as a judge, you got to determine who's doing more damage. The guy that's landing more jabs or the guy that's landing more power shots. I got it 4 rounds to 2 for Mathysse. I think he's doing more damage with his power shots, and that's how I see it. 4-2, Mathysse.
Yeah, in a real stinking fight, it's constant holding. It's not much clean punches landed, and there's too much holding, but it's not all the time, and you are seeing punches landed on both sides, but it's not a barn burner, that's for sure, and it's failing to live up to expectations.
I agree with Harold, it stinks.
And there's the holding by Kiram.
It's also, you combine that with the fact that it's not a very skillful fight. If 2 more skilled fighters produce the same number of punches landed, you at least get to watch technique.
Problem being, Max, you got a very skillful fighter in there with a guy who's not so skillful. So this definitely should create some type of fireworks. But the skillful guy just doesn't look like himself tonight. Maybe he can land one of those bombs and produce something. I don't know, but I don't really see it because I don't see the vigor in his punches tonight like I usually see in him.
Knockouts have a way of making everyone forget what led to them.
That's why I say I hope he can get one of those.
Crowd begins to register boos.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. You gotta breathe. Don't dump. Don't be dumping. Don't dump. Don't dump. You need to use your jab. Don't dunk down. Don't dunk down like that.
Now take too much grease. Take that grease off. If you hold, I'm gonna take 1 point. Take too much grease. Too much grease.
Now Raul Kai Sr. goes to Kiram's corner and says, putting too much grease on his face. Take the grease off.
No holding.
Here are some dreadful numbers. Total punches through round 8. Mathysse landing 52 out of 229. Kiram 49 out of 257. That's just low. Inactive. Dull. Bad stuff. And now we come to a scheduled, or the 8th round.
There's no combination punching. It's all one punch at a time.
And that's the real problem, Max, with Mathysse. He's throwing 1 punch at a time, not throwing 3 or 4 together. And that's causing him to allow Kiram to escape every time.
I don't see many Mathysse punches with authority. You know, we told the audience he's one of the hardest punchers in boxing. They wouldn't know it to see this, although there's a left hand that lands, and down goes Kiram. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lucas Mathysse hurt Kiram with a left hook. Let's see if he can finish him now and put an end to what has been a dreadful fight.
Not dreadful right now. They're throwing bombs.
Oh, Kiram has decided to stand and hold his ground and fire back rather than running or holding. And now Mathysse gets him with the right hand.
That was not that was a phantom right hand. That was a phantom right hand.
And now this is over. Raul Kais has stopped the fight. And officials are rolling into the ring as Lucas Mathysse sits atop the corner post and celebrates a knockout win. I said a right hand, no, it's a left. Well, the first one was a left. Yep, left hook. All right. Lucas Mathysse gets a hug and celebrates a dramatic victory. All right, let's see if I miscalled the knockdown punch. There's knockdown number 1. And it was clear the left hand did most of the damage there.
Yeah, the left hand did most of the damage there. But here, the left hand did a little bit of damage.
Still knockdown 1.
Yeah, okay, yes. Knockdown 1. The left hand did put him down.
And now let's see if knockdown 2 was with the right or the left. I said right, and it's the left.
The left again. And he's still up here, then he just goes after the right hand. That's not a knock.
Look,
that's why I thought it was the right hand.
Yeah, sometimes there's delayed reaction knockdown. That is the biggest delay I have ever seen.
Exactly.
I've never seen a delay that long. It was so delayed that it's reasonable to question whether Kiram was looking for a place to fall down at that moment.
My goodness.
Remarkable. One way or the other, left, right, or neither, Lucas Mathysse has a knockout victory over Tewa Kiram.